Here's the new VR games coming to you in April. Up first on April 1st, we have a PCVR title called The Last Safe Space. Here you'll be exploring mysterious ruins and uncovering fantastic marvels. It's a part exploration puzzler, part escape room, and a part horror adventure. This won't be a day one purchase for me. I'll wait and see how the reviews look before picking this one up. Escape Simulator VR. Now this one is a very popular flat screen virtual escape room that is getting a free VR update on the 2nd of April for anyone that owns the base game. With over 12,000 reviews and 94% upvotes on the original, if they can get the VR version right, this could go down as one of the all-time greats. Those that love escape rooms and tricky puzzles in VR will want to keep their eyes on this one. For now, this one's just on PCVR, but the studio have said that it will be coming to the Quest store sometime soon. There's also a bunch of DLCs and a pretty stacked roadmap on its way. C-Smash came out for PSVR 2 last year, but is now making its way to the standalone headsets for both Pico and Quest. It's sort of a cross between sports racket games like Racket NX and VR fitness games with all the squats and dodging of obstacles going on. The graphics are obviously low poly, but these games where you're moving around and swinging your arms typically do very well in the standalone stores, so it makes sense that it's coming this way. C-Smash does support online multiplayer, but one of the biggest complaints is that it's really hard to find a match because of the smaller player base of PSVR 2 players. Let's see if the bolstered numbers of Quest users can bring this game back to life. Next up is Black Trail VR, and this one is developed by Red Horizon and is getting a full release on the 8th of April for PCVR. It's a story-driven western where you play as both a cowboy or a Native American as you make your way through the various chapters. While it does kind of give me Red Dead Redemption vibes, but in VR, I think realistically it's not going to be a massive open world game and the graphics do look a little bit average. That being said, they do promise some in-game progression with their bounty hunts. So once you're done with the main campaign, you can enter timed encounters and use the loot to upgrade your arsenal and even compete with players online. Toy Monsters, which is basically Plants vs Zombies but in mixed reality, is graduating from the app lab to the main Quest store. This game already boasts 4.8 out of 5 stars, and the biggest drawback is that the game is too short. So those that have already purchased or are considering will be happy to learn that with its full release, it will feature 3 worlds, over 33 levels, bosses, and endless mode with high scores. Developed by Habaduba Games, this one definitely looks like a fun, casual title to add to the library. Mixture, which has been out for a while now on the Quest, is making its way over to PCVR and PSVR 2. It's a puzzle hack and slash adventure where you play as 2 enemies in an alliance of necessity on a quest of redemption. It's quite often compared to Moss because of its dual character control. So in Moss you play as both Quill and the Reader, and here you take on the role of Solar and Sephoris. So if you enjoyed Moss and that sort of gameplay and want to take advantage of the increased performance of your PC or PS5, then this could be a great pickup. After the successful launch of Tiny Archers on Quest, it's now coming to PCVR and Pico on the 18th of April. Now this is a tower defense game where you can show off your archery skills. One of my favorite games to play on the Pico 4 was In Death Unchained, and specifically the Siege of Heaven, which is their gate defense mode. Now this looks very similar to that, but a bit more child friendly. You can craft special arrows and this game looks pretty polished. From the initial reviews of those that picked it up in early access, it looks pretty good. Yet another game that has 4.8 out of 5 stars on the Quest store. Alright, we're now at the halfway point and I'd like to shout out a few of the games that I've been playing that came out in the last month or so. Now because I took last month off, my favorite game that came out in Feb was the full release of Dragon Fist VR Kung Fu. I've had a bunch of fun playing this one and couldn't believe of how much of a workout it was. In just 20 minutes, I burnt 226 calories, which is only just less than Thrill of the Fight and Les Mills Body Combat, arguably 2 of the most intense VR workouts out there. In March, I basically took the whole month off to get married in real life, but one game I did manage to get a few hours in was Swamp 2. Man, the team over at Green Sky Games have outdone themselves and delivered an insane sequel. Sitting pretty on the Quest store, you're not going to believe this, but yet another 4.8 out of 5 stars, and it does deserve all the success it's received. Up next is Strike Rush, and my guess is this is Valorant but with pets. So here you'll play out a 4v4 tactical shooter but with your AI companion. They also look to have special abilities like warping, stealth, and interfering radio waves. All in all, it looks like a pretty solid game. My only concern is that it's going to launch with a price tag of $20. And these sorts of games need to have a really big player base to have decent queue times. I personally think it would have made more sense to go down the free-to-play route with optional cosmetic upgrades if you like it. It's not going to be a day one purchase for me. I'm going to wait and see how this one plays out. I was just reading the description for this. Umurangi Generation is a first-person photographer game set in the shitty future. Set in Tauranga Aotearoa, aka New Zealand. And wait, what? Well, for one, I had no idea that photography games were a thing, but I actually grew up in Tauranga, so I kind of have to pick this one up. So this is a conversion from a flat screen game from 2020. It received positive reviews with 900 reviews and 92% upvotes. Watching the trailer, it doesn't really look like my sort of thing at all, but I'm still keen to give this one a try. One of the more hyped games on this list is Soul Covenant. So this game takes place in the near future, desolate Japan, where humanity engages in a fierce battle against machines. It's coming to the Quest, PCVR, and PSVR 2. It is a massive tactical action game where you'll be fighting for your life. The game has a progression system with its upgradable weapons that give you the choice in combat, opting for more range to fight from a distance, or for more close range power. On the Steam tag, it also says online co-op, so I'm wondering if the full campaign can be played with a friend. If so, that sounds amazing. Big shots. Now this one just screams Borderlands to me, but with mechs. I really like the cartoony artwork. Here you can team up with friends and pilot the big shots in this action-packed VR roguelike. You'll be battling alien hordes and upgrading your arsenal to become an unstoppable mech to reclaim Earth. It's coming to PCVR, Quest, and PSVR 2, and is definitely in my top 3 for this month for sure. Up next we have Strayed VR, which is in the App Lab right now, but is apparently coming to PCVR and the Quest store on the 19th of April. It's basically Rust but in VR. Now I found this release date on Upload VR's website, but looking at the Steam and Quest store, I couldn't find any release or news confirming this. But if Rust is your thing, then I highly recommend at least adding this to your wishlist as soon as possible. ANARCHITECTS is sort of Roblox meets Gary's Mod, where you can create, play, and share using an easy to drag and drop building system. With no coding required or even loading screen, this game looks to be pretty good. This will be a blend of social interaction and creative freedom, enabling you to design and enjoy mini games and hang out with friends. So you could craft a zero gravity gun battle or kick off a football match. I think what's really cool is that building and playing occur simultaneously, and this is thanks to the innovative interaction between players and entities known as Celestials. Now, the Nope challenge doesn't have a set release date, but this one by far is the one that I'm looking forward to the most. Now, not necessarily for me to play, but more to have it in my library so that when friends come over, and I can scare the living crap out of them. It looks to play out a little bit like Richie's Plank experience, but with way more going on. You've got the height, but you've also got spiders and clowns running around in the dark, and once you've had enough, you can tap on the no button on your wrist 3 times before you exit the encounter. This looks absolutely terrifying. Then we have Drunk or Dead 2, which is the sequel to Drunk or Dead, which came out back in 2017. Can you believe that's 7 years ago? Essentially, a vicious zombie plague has spread across the road and the only cure is alcohol. Protected via a killer hangover, mankind does whatever it takes to reclaim the world or just to take the best of life until it runs out. Now, obviously a comedic spin on the much loved zombie shooter genre, and it does also support online PvP and co-op. If you're not really sure if this will be your thing, then you can actually head over and play the prologue on Steam right now for free. And that's all for this month. Thanks and bye.